Okay, let's continue with our piece. I want to remind you now, the wind's really picking up around here. I had to go and drink some water, and because I do get coughing fits. Now, let me remind you now, when you watch my videos, perhaps I don't have a real close-up of what I'm doing, which is no problem, because YouTube has on the right side, it has where you can enlarge the video, and when you do enlarge the video, you can almost, basically, you're basically almost right there, showing it. So always do that, because I want to give you plenty of room to see. Once again, I do apologize for the coughing. There is absolutely nothing I can do about this, the coughing. My lung is damaged and is irreversible when you have that, and because it is irreversible, then there's not a whole lot I can do. And unfortunately, it doesn't give me a signal when the coughing can start. It just doesn't. So, and it's like an asthma almost, in other words. So I have to stop, and it's very embarrassing, especially in church. You can hear the lawnmower in the background. I have to oftentimes get up from church, and when I start coughing, because it just really, and everybody knows that, and has become familiar with it. So all right. Okay, we got a little mustache right there. Now let's go ahead and do I run the knife down the side here, and I cut from the inside, so that will provide me some room to, actually this is all cut in here like this. And to our little ears that we're going to be doing. Cut in there. That's why you need to enlarge it where you can get a closer look at what I'm doing. Unfortunately, it's like a second nature to me. Now, I wish I could be up in the woods somewhere where there isn't a lot of noise, but unfortunately, you take the good with the bad. Fortunately, people are running around doing their busy lives, and even though you would like to have a little peace, life goes on, and I don't think that's a lawnmower. I think that's more like a Yeah, I think that's more like a pressure washer or something like that. That's what it sounds like. Lawnmowers don't usually sound like that. Or a weed eater or something. That's usually not the sound of a weed eater either. Okay. And then we come to the other side and do the same thing. And then you come back here and you that's the wonderful thing about YouTube is you can't enlarge your piece, what you want to see, so you can see things up close, and that helps you so much to get a bird's eye view of what you're doing, and that way yeah, that sounds like a pressure washer. I'm not going to get up and go look. I didn't notice. I am a lot of people have asked me when I start coughing like that in church, I'll get up and I'll leave. I'll go off until I can get my coughing under control. And a lot of people ask me, say, well, why do you do that, Gene? I mean, you know, we understand what you have and stuff. Well, we were raised in a world where, you know, if a baby started crying or something like that, you got up and you took the baby out when it was especially about church. Now, a lot of people don't do that anymore. They just let the child cry. But, and that's to keep from bothering the other persons, or the other people that are in the service, in other words. I feel that now, do I do that in a restaurant? Not all the time, because most of the time there's so much noise going on in the restaurant anyway. Nobody even hears you. But in a church, yes, because people are trying to listen to the sermon, and we were just taught that. So many times are different now, as I've told you before. I see people now in church wearing a hat, and oh man, if you had a hat on while going to church, well, you know, you were looked down upon. So that was just different things, you know. There's holding the door for a woman. I still do. I still hold doors for ladies because I was raised that way. And I think I shock a lot of people because I do that, or a lot of ladies that I call them ma'am. I do those type of things. Not that I'm tooting my own horn. I'm just saying that was the way I was raised, you know. And so, I mean, what I hear, I mean, I've heard some, I hate to say it, but I've heard the way some young men talk to their girlfriends or their wives You know, and it's pathetic. It's just really pathetic. And you would not have gotten away with that kind of stuff when I was a young man. Or if you'd have gotten away with it, well, you'd have been branded as a piece of nothing. You just didn't do that. Now, a lot of that has to be blamed. I understand too, it's a different world. And a lot of that has to be blamed on the fact that that women today want equal rights. And equal rights doesn't, and listen, they should have equal rights. I remember a time when especially out that plant where I was, when women came into the workforce, they were treated pretty badly. And they should have equal rights. But in the course, because you're being treated equally doesn't mean that, well, it just got all, you know, equal rights was meant to be a form of helping women. And a lot of women took it further than that and made it like that a man and a woman are just alike. And you know, a person says, well, I can do anything that you can do. A woman would say, well, I can do whatever a man can do. Well, no, you can't. And just like a man cannot do the things that a woman can do. A man cannot bear children, and thank goodness for that, because men would probably be a lot worse off if they did bear children. Most men don't take pain as well as women, and I think God put that in a woman to be able to handle the pain of childbirth, you know, and stuff like that. Men have a real issue with pain a lot of times, and I think God did that deliberately, that He put that strength in a woman for that. So we all play our ways differently, and thank God that we do. And when we, you know, it's like a teenager thinking that oh, I can do, you know, I can do whatever a person that you know, I can raise kids like a person that's had experience raising children. You know, no, you can't. It's just like you can't, because you're not experienced in that type of stuff. Now, if you were raised that way, yeah, I understand that, but that's the way most people are not raised. In that time and place. It's just entirely different. So, everybody is different, and that's good. We don't want to all be the same. I've told you many times, thank goodness that we that carve are not all the same. Or you go to a carving show and everybody's got the same. Just think if everybody carved just Santa Clauses. Yeah, you get kind of tired of looking at Santa Clauses. I would say that probably Santa Clauses are probably the most carved issues that people of our nature do, because people do a lot of Santa Clauses because they're real popular, of course, for the people. So so Santa's become, you know, a very big seller, and they're the biggest. I mean, if you really want to make, you know, sell things, Santas are a way to go. I mean, Santas during Christmas are always in great demand. But if everybody carved Santas when you went to a show, it'd be pretty boring. Thank goodness we're not all like that. But I would say that Santas are probably one of the most popular carvings that people do. And some do some fantastic Santas. But we've discussed about that today, hand carved stuff is not as valuable to young people today as it once was, or to people. You know, people wanted hand carved stuff that were made by hand, and that's just not the case anymore. People don't get all bent out of shape over things that are hand carved anymore. Even though they like it, they don't get bent out of shape over it. Okay. We're slowly putting this guy together, and he's doing real good right now. Okay, well, let's go ahead and come across here with the pants. And okay, now I'm gonna get my V-tool here as soon as I can find it. Here it is. I'm gonna come back here and just hit the hair a little bit. There's not much hair back here. It's just really on each side a little bit. But we do have it on our mustache. You got to be real careful on these little ones with that V-tool. You gotta really be careful because it's small, and the breakage the breakage is very easy with a small character like this. So you don't want to put a lot of pressure. That's why it's important that your tool be sharp. And then I just skirt across, just barely skirt, and take my time. I don't put a lot of pressure on it at all. There we go. Just want to hit one there. I'm going to hit there, right there. It kind of gives it. Come down here and I just make a little cut. hands. Everything is so small. It's just, you've got to figure this small. That's why I make the that's why I make the stuff so all right. Now I'm gonna drill a little hole, put something in his hand, maybe some flowers or something. Okay. All right, he's just about put a few more little things in here. He's just about finished. Let me go ahead and take him aside and wet him, and I'll be right back. All right. Okay. There you go. There's our little guy. Get some of this fuzzy stuff out of here. There's our little guy. I'm probably going to dress him in black and